Rage of the Abyss is one of the most hyped Yu-Gi-Oh sets in years. Orders for boxes are skyrocketing, and my locals had to put limits on the number of packs you were allowed to buy at pre-release to ensure everyone could buy at least some packs. And most of that hype comes from precisely one card, Mulcharmy Purulia, the closest thing that the TCG has had to a certain level 2 insect in 6.5 years. Other chase cards include an actual hand trap, Dominus Impulse, the continuation of the Diabell Star storyline with the Azamina theme that is seemingly splashable in everything, Fire King Courtier Ulcanix, and of course, a wealth of quarter-century rares. However, you cannot pull all of this in one box. In a core Yu-Gi-Oh set, there are 10 secret rares, 14 ultra rares, 26 super rares, and 50 commons. 25 cards are also available as a quarter-century rare, including one card that is only available as a quarter-century rare. In one box, normal ratios dictate that you pull 2 secrets, 4 ultras, 16 supers, and you have a 1 in 4 chance to pull a quarter-century rare from a single box, and that replaces a super. So, for the maths, in one box, you have a 21% chance of getting a Mulcharmy, 20% of which are secret, and 1% is a quarter-century rare. So, let's look at it if it's worth to buy Rage of the Abyss. So, let's first go over some assumptions that we're doing here. Firstly, prices can and will change. We are close to the release date, and this is often one of the more expensive times to buy your cards, and they can fall or rise over time. Secondly, I'm going to do all my prices in dollars using TCG player pricing. It just makes it easier to just use one website consistently for the whole thing. Next, I'm not counting commons in the final value of boxes. They are generally very hard to sell, and people tend to just either give them away to people or sell them for a relatively nominal price in a bulk lot to a shop or an online vendor or something of that nature. For super rares, again, your number of super rares differs between quarter-century boxes and regular boxes, and we will need to adjust our value of each depending on the number of super rares they are. It's a very minor adjustment. Super rares currently averaging around 30 cents for any one super rare in the set. So your value for super rares will be $4.80 for a non-quarter-century rare box and $4.50 for a quarter-century rare box. I will be assuming the ratios you get as previous. In each box you will get 4 ultra rare cards, 2 secret rare cards, with a 1 in 4 chance of a quarter-century rare in one box that replaces a super rare. We will be assuming that you cannot get a duplicate ultra or secret in terms of the calculation, but a quarter rare can be a duplicate. So, what is the most value of one box that you can pull? I'll give you 5 seconds to think of your estimate. Okay, that's long enough. Using TCG player prices, that box would contain a quarter-century rare Mulcharmy Purulia at $477, a secret rare Mulcharmy Purulia at $142, a secret rare Deception of the Sinful Spoils at $50, an ultra rare Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon at $5, a Mimical Throne at $4, an ultra rare Azamina Mew Resiliago at $3.50, and a Mermail Shadow Squad at $3. This gives us a final box value of $689. So let's do the opposite. What's the worst box you could get? And again, I'll give you a few seconds to work out your estimate. The theoretical worst box would contain 1 Primite Lordly Load at $5, 1 Mimigal Charm at $4, and then your 4 ultra rares would be Flying Mary Wandering Ghost Ship, Primite Drill Beam, 1 Poseidra Abyss, and 1 Centurion Chimera, all at $1 apiece. The value of that box is a whopping $17.50. And bear in mind, that box is statistically more likely to happen than the box previously because most boxes don't contain a quarter century rare. So let's work out the average box value. If we add up the value of all of the ultra rares in the set and divide it by 14, that gives us an average value of an ultra rare at about $2.20. If we multiply that by 4 for the number of ultra rares you pull in one box, our average ultra rare value for that box is $8.80. If we do the same for secret rares, adding up the values and dividing by 10 the number of secret rares in the set, we get an average secret rare value of $29.10. For 2 secrets in a box, we get $58.20. So our expected value in a non-quarter century rare box is $71.80 with added super rares and $67 without adding super rares. Currently, at TCG player prices, boxes are going for around $84 to $85 for a sealed box of Rage of the Abyss. If we do quarter century rares, we add up all the prices for all of them and divide by 25, we get a value of $89.60. So our average quarter century box has a value of $161.10, including super rares. As not every box contains a quarter century rare, we have to weight this value. So to weight this, we use 3 non-quarter century boxes to 1 quarter century box and divide that by 4, which gives us an average value per box of $94.10. By themselves, these values seem pretty good. However, I want to look at one more thing. Now, Mulcharmy is an extreme outlier in terms of price. It is nearly 3 times more expensive than the next most expensive card in the set, and therefore it makes sense to, as most boxes will not contain a Mulcharmy, to look at the value of the box without Mulcharmy in as well, as that is the majority of boxes that will be opened. And how does this affect the value? To help reduce the number of outliers, we're also going to take the cheapest quarter century and cheapest secret rare out of the value as well. The ultras are all relatively close in value, ranging from about $5 to $1, so we're going to keep them as is. If we do our average quarter century value, which is excluding Mulcharmy and excluding Primite Lordly Load, that gives us $75.80 as our quarter century value without Mulcharmy. So a drop of around $15. If we do our secret value without Mulcharmy and Mimigul Charm, we get an average secret value of $18.10. So again, a drop of about $11. So if we exclude our outliers, our expected value of a non-quarter century box goes to $49.80, and a quarter century box goes to $147.30. And therefore, if we do our cost weighting, discounting Mulcharmy, we get an average box price of $74.20. So you can really see how much of an effect Mulcharmy has on the price of this set, and that the set is not worth it without Mulcharmy in it. So why does expected value matter? So, if the price of boxes is cheaper than the value of a set, it makes sense to buy lots of sealed product, open it, and sell the cards for profit, and make more money than you spent in the first place. This helps to drive singles prices down for any but the most valuable cards, in this case Mulcharmy. So all the other cards in this set are likely to be really cheap because Mulcharmy is the card that everyone wants. If the product is not worth opening at all, sealed product sits on shelves, unable to be moved, like everyone's favourite Legendary Duelist sets. And they only sell with steep discounts because they're not good to open. Rage of the Abyss specifically is a set carried on the price of Mulcharmy and the quarter century rares. Unless you win the Mulcharmy or the quarter century rare lottery, you are highly unlikely to make your money back on the purchase, especially with the slightly inflated prices of sealed product. It's also possible to pull in this set a quarter century that doesn't make you your money back on this box. So you can still lose money even with pulling a quarter century rare. This set is going to be one of the most open sets in recent years. Prices for the majority of cards are going to continue going down over the next few weeks. And remember, if you have the money for a case of this set, you have the money for Mulcharmy.